Good morning, Corpus Christi, Coastal Bend, and listeners worldwide. Welcome on in to another edition of the Sunday Sports Rush right here on News Talk KEYS 1440 AM and 98.7 FM. I am your host, your fearless sports leader. It is I, James Espinosa. I'm joined alongside by my best friend, producer, co-host. It is Aiden Ducker.
What's Gucci with it?
And it is just Aiden Ducker and I. Just us two. We got no guest, nobody in studio with us. Just us two, the original Sports Rush crew. And we're going to hang with you till 11 a.m. today.
We do have Alex Weister coming in at 10:30 and the last segment of the show. So a full 30 minutes of Gen Z content. Let's go.
That is correct. As Aiden just teased ahead, 10:30 we have Weister in the house. We'll be picking some NFL games. We'll be talking some Texas high school football with Alex Weister, Dave Campbell's own, Texans Live own, Lone Star Sports Emmy Award winner. We'll talk with him at 10:30 for a full 30 minutes, NFL and Texas high school football with him.
Yeah, like I said, the future Super Bowl 75 play-by-play announcer on live TV.
Oh, my God. That would be amazing if that happened. If you want to interact with us on the show this morning, you could hit us up on the text line. Get your takes in. 361-882-5397, 361-882-5397, or you could give us a call. If you have something you want to get off your chest, give us a call, shoot us a text, 361-882-5397. I want to hear from you. Coming up in the first hour of the Sunday Sports Rush, episode 143, we got at 9:50, Shohei, more like show paid. Shohei got the bag. We'll talk about that at 9:50. 9:30, we got college football's latest. Our thoughts on Florida State and the upcoming college football playoff at 9:20. The Lakers are the champions of the NBA in-season tournament. We'll have definite opinions on the tournament and what that means. Right now, though, let's dive in because it's a huge day. It is Cowboys versus Eagles round 2. And we're going to have that game tonight on News Talk KEYS.
I haven't played this in a while.
This is one of my favorite NFL bumps. Good call right there. We'll have it tonight on Keys, 6 p.m. pregame, 7:20 kickoff with Brad Sham, Babe Laufenberg, Christi Scales, and then a postgame to follow. So Keys, you're home of the Dallas Cowboys. We get you started right here. And our question of the day to the listening audience, who wins? Give me a score prediction. Give me some bold takes. Who does what tonight in Cowboys versus Eagles? Who stands out? Who has a multi-touchdown game? Does Dak Prescott throw for 350 or more? Does Dak Prescott have 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns? I don't know. You tell me what's going to happen tonight. 361-882-5397. I need your takes on Cowboys and Eagles. So, we haven't seen the Cowboys play since last Thursday when they defeated the Seahawks 41-35.
Have plenty of time to fix the secondary issues that played them in that game.
And I think that's going to be a good place to start because the Cowboys secondary last week against the Philadelphia Eagles was porous, to say the least. And I'm just going to be honest, and that's what I do with you guys. They played poor. They played probably the worst game I've seen them play all season long. Geno Smith, I believe, threw for a career high 334 yards with 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. It was close to a career high for Geno Smith at least, but DK Metcalf went off, and that's going to be a concern tonight when you look at what the Eagles present against the Cowboys. The Eagles are a team that have weapons up the yin-yang. You want to talk about a DK Metcalf clone? Well, the Eagles have that, and his name is A.J. Brown. Just as big, just as strong, just as fast as DK Metcalf.
Yeah, DK Metcalf is a good receiver, but A.J. Brown's more consistent. Like, he's gonna how DK Metcalf played against the Cowboys, you see that more out there with A.J. Brown.
361-882-5397. We already have a prediction in on the text line. This comes from Raul Ortiz. Shout out to Raul getting in. Raul says Eagles by... Wait, hold up. This is very awkwardly worded. Eagles by 3, 20... Oh, so he says Eagles by 3, 28-13. 31. So he has the Eagles winning 31-28 by 3 points.
And here's one thing you have to know. Like, we can also talk about, the Eagles in the second half of the Niners game. They looked really bad. The Niners were getting whatever they wanted on offense in the second half. And it just wasn't. They were due to lose. They got down in a hole late in the first half, and the Niners are just too good of a team to not let them come out of that hole.
What I saw last week between Niners and Eagles was quite fascinating. I did not expect that to happen.
But the Eagles, Cowboys fans, I know that you like to hate on them, but they are an elite team. They're whenever you're consistently winning, you are an elite team. I'm not saying they're like a Super Bowl champ, like a championship pedigree, but they are an elite team, and elite teams usually play better after they lose a game. So I don't expect what you saw against the Niners from the Eagles in this game. Now the Cowboys can still win, they can still win the game, but I expect the Eagles to play a lot better than they did against the Niners.
361-882-5397. Get your takes in on the text line. Now, we're talking Niners. We're talking the Eagles game from last week. We're talking Cowboys, Eagles, pretty much all show long, so get your takes in here. The Niners whipped the Eagles' butt, 42-19. At one point last week, the Eagles' defense was reminiscent of saloon doors. Everybody had to go through them. They were like a doorknob. Everybody had to turn. The 49ers scored 6 straight touchdowns, 6 straight possessions. The Eagles last week looked like a team that was banged up. They looked like a team that was tired. They looked like a team that just couldn't tackle as Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk were racking up yards after the catch, for those of you not familiar with that acronym. And I got some Eagles defensive numbers later on in the show that are going to shock you with how bad this Eagles defense truly is. They are not a good defense. The Cowboys offense today can take advantage of this. Let's not forget, last time that the Cowboys did play the Eagles up in Philadelphia, Dak Prescott threw for 300-plus yards, had 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was moving the ball on them. It was just a tightly contested game in which Terrence Steele couldn't block anybody.
The problem is, though, the Eagles in close games this year have been very great in the end situationally. And that's one thing, I expect this to be a competitive game, but can the Cowboys clutch up when they need to? Because this Eagles team, say what you want, how well they've played as a unit in terms of how they, in terms of their entire season, but they're winning these games for a reason. And
that's fine. And the Eagles have played 9 one-score games. They've won 8 of them. 8-1 in one-score games this year.
And credit to the Niners, they didn't let it get close to the end so the Eagles can come away.
Now, you can also make the argument that the Eagles are winning all these one-score games very closely, very, very contested, sometimes getting by the skin of their teeth. You could also make the argument, well, you know who looked like that last year? Who regressed to the mean eventually? The Vikings. You know who also looked like that last year? Who won a lot of one-score games but eventually regressed to the mean? The Giants. Eventually, you cannot survive just winning those tight games. Sometimes the ball is going to bounce against you.
They look like that, but the Eagles are still they're a better roster than the Giants and Vikings of last year.
Okay, that's a fair take. I won't give you that one. The Eagles are a better team. I'm just saying, eventually, the ball stops bouncing your way in those tight games.
They're trying their best to fight the Super Bowl loser hangover. And I got to commend them on that, because usually most Super Bowl loser hangover teams lose these close games. So they're finding a way to claw and win, which is a credit to the Eagles coaching staff and how they operate as well. But, man, it's just this game right now, it's gonna come out of the wire in terms of when I'm gonna call this, because I'm having, the Cowboys still haven't had a loss yet in a while. Are the Cowboys due? You know what I'm saying?
The Cowboys.
I expect the Eagles to play better after losing. What's gonna happen? It's gonna be down to the wire for me.
The Cowboys are on a 14-game home winning streak. 14-game home winning streak. I mentioned Dak and how well he did against the Eagles the last time they played back in Week 9 in that 28-23 loss to Philadelphia. Dak threw a game-high 374 yards that night, against the Eagles, he had 3 touchdowns. He had a 115 passer rating, averaged about 8.5 yards per throw, and completed 65% of his passes. So he had a hell of a game. It's just, they just lost a tightly contested game. Sometimes that happens, right?
A couple of inches on a couple of different plays went against their way.
That's true. At home this season, Dak Prescott has a 76% completion percentage, 18 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a 126.8 quarterback rating. He is playing phenomenal at home this year.
And then another there, well, I guess narratives is too much of a harsh word because it is facts, but like the fortress that's become Jerry World. But is the fortress crumbling? Did the Seahawks kind of knock?
No.
Did the Seahawks kind of knock down some barriers?
Okay, maybe the Seahawks put a dent in some of the drywall. I mean, I don't know. The Seahawks punched their fist through the drywall a couple of times, but the house is still standing.
Like, are the Eagles? You remember? You've seen Lord of the Rings, right? Remember that?
Yes.
Remember in the second movie that one orc it was carrying the bombs, right?
Yes.
And he suicided himself and he broke the wall. And they were able. Are the Eagles going to be that? Are they going to break the wall now?
He unalived himself.
Yeah.
Is what you meant.
But
look,
you know what
I know
saying?
what you mean. Yeah.
Are the Eagles? Are they going to do that?
Tons to talk about today between Cowboys and Eagles. Get your predictions in the text line right now, 361-882-5397. If you want to call in, give us a call. Give us your take. I want to know who wins tonight, who does what tonight. Give me some bold takes. Give me some predictions. Now, the Dak turnaround has been fantastic. Dak has went from, in the first 5 weeks, passing for 212 yards per game to now 310 yards per game. That is first in the NFL from week 6 through 13. Dak has pretty much improved in every single facet, but it is Dak Prescott for his play on the field, but I also got to give credit to Mike McCarthy. I got to give credit to offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer. A lot of people don't want to bring up Schottenheimer's name, but Mike McCarthy calls the plays. Brian Schottenheimer is the offensive coordinator. People forget that Schottenheimer is the one who is running schemes, who is helping Mike McCarthy come up with these game plans. Shout out to Brian Schottenheimer, man. He's been doing a hell of a job for the Cowboys.
Russell Wilson's best individual seasons as a Seahawk came when he was their OC.
And a lot of people like to crap on Schottenheimer because he had a couple of really bad stints with, the Jets?
No, well, he even had Mark Sanchez playing good quarterback for a little bit.
But you know how Jets fans are.
But I think it's mostly McCarthy. Well, McCarthy's a play caller. I think what Mike McCarthy is doing well, and watching the Cowboys is this doesn't happen as often, but there was times where Kellen Moore would get a little too cute.
Yes.
And there were times where he would run the wrong play at the wrong time that will halt a drive.
Yes.
Mike McCarthy is not really doing that. Like you're not seeing all these fancy, cute plays that stall a drive. He just, I feel like this is the best Dak has looked his entire career.
I would agree with you.
I think Mike McCarthy's found a way to make it. It seems more simple, but it's more efficient.
I want to play this quick audio before we hit the break of Mike McCarthy talking about Dak Prescott and the comparisons that he's had to Aaron Rodgers from whenever Mike McCarthy coached the Green Bay Packers. Here's an interesting thought right here. This is courtesy of DallasCowboys.com.
Earlier in the week, Aaron Rodgers said he loved how Dak is playing the position. How would you compare this stretch? Dak's had 20 touchdowns in the last 6 games to maybe one of his stretches up in Green Bay.
To be honest, I've been so blessed to be around Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Dak's playing great ball. It's fun when when you're in this rhythm. He has such great command, and you can only do it with the championship caliber quarterback, and Dak is that guy.
So there we go. Mike McCarthy's confident in Dak. Mike McCarthy has coached great quarterbacks, man. He turned around Brett Favre, and Brett Favre was struggling at the end of his career. He got Aaron Rodgers to where he was.
Yeah. But I remember Brett Favre, he bought himself a couple more years in the league, when Mike McCarthy came around.
Exactly. Mike knows how to coach quarterbacks, man, and it's fun right now. So it's Cowboys-Eagles. It's game day. Hit us up on the text line, 361-882-5397. Give us a call. I want your predictions. Give me a final score. Give me some things that are going to happen tonight in this ball game. Let us know. When we come back, I got some more Cowboys notes, and we'll give our quick takes on the NBA's in-season tournament. The Lakers are the champions! Kind of. We'll talk that and more after the break. Sunday Sports Rush, James and Adin with you till 11 a.m. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll talk a little bit of college football, give you our thoughts on the Final Four, our thoughts on Florida State being left out, Army, Navy, the Heisman Trophy presentation, a lot to talk about in college football. But right now, we're going to continue just a tad bit more of NFL because it's popping this morning, Adin. The text line is lighting up. I got people texting me. I got people hitting me up on Twitter, at Sir Edward James, if you want to follow me on Twitter. Everybody's hyped for Cowboys-Eagles, as they should be. This is a big game. Now, I know we had somebody call in during the break.
Yeah, his name is Floresville Roy.
Floresville Roy.
A listener who's listening on the app from Floresville.
Nice, man.
He gives his prediction, Cowboys 20, Eagles 17. He thinks Jake Ferguson's going to come through clutch again.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, I like the Jake Ferguson shout-out, man.
He's also cheering on Smithson Valley at State.
Sweet. So
I believe that's the only team in San Antonio area that's alive, right?
That is correct. Yes. Cibolo Steel fell yesterday. San Antonio Davenport also fell yesterday.
It's always nice knowing that we have listeners outside of the coastal bend.
Dude, Floresville's kind of like out there too. That's like near San Antonio.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's like 30, 40 minutes away from San Antonio.
So shout out to Floresville Roy for getting in and calling. I appreciate you listening so much, sir. He has Cowboys 20, Eagles 17. Jake Ferg going to have himself a Fergalicious type of night in Dallas. So,
and real quick, that's one thing that's been a bright spot too, is that the emergence of Jake Ferguson as a top 10 tight end in the league.
That's true.
You know, we thought, okay, Dr. Schultz leaving, that's going to be kind of a blow to the offense, but no, Ferguson's picked up right where Schultz has left off.
I got my boy Sonny in here texting me. Sonny says, let's go, James. This is feeling like an old school battle. McNabb and Westbrook versus Romo and Witten. He says his big take is Dallas Goedert is back. I think Goedert will be a big key to the road victory for the Eagles. Signed, Sonny, one of the biggest Eagles fans I know. So he's saying...
Is he back?
He's back. He's playing tonight. Dallas Goedert is back from his fractured arm. In which...
That concerns me a little bit.
Marquise Bell fractured his arm in the first Cowboys-Eagles matchup.
That concerns me a little bit.
For the Cowboys?
I feel like they're rushing him back because it's such a big game.
Okay. Well, Sonny's in here. I appreciate you, Sonny, getting on in. Which your take. Coach Smith, going to get one more in here before we transition to some NBA talk. But we will keep Cowboys and Eagles flowing all show long. Don't worry. We will feed you Cowboys and Eagles. We will shove that spoon in your mouth. Coach Smith says, don't believe the McCarthy hype. He says, LOL, just kidding. McCarthy is doing way better than I thought he would. Dak is the clear-cut MVP choice if they continue to win. Coach Smith, of course, head coach of Alpine, those fighting Bucks out there, went 2 rounds deep in the playoffs. Love you, Coach Smith. Thank you for getting in this morning. I do like the Dak MVP hype. I think that's true, and I think tonight a big showdown game on Sunday Night Football. If Dak has another outstanding performance, dude, he might just wrap it up tonight, man, or he might just put himself in the clear hunt for this. So there we go, 361-882-5397. Quickly, let's talk some NBA. Let's go ahead and get into what happened last night with the NBA's in-season tournament. Yes, the in-season tournament concluded, and the Los Angeles Lakers are the first ever NBA in-season tournament champions. They defeat the Pacers 123-109. Anthony Davis went off, 41 points, 20 rebounds, 5 assists. Anthony Davis had a hell of a game. LeBron had 24 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. LeBron won the tournament MVP. Austin Reeves at 28 points. And the cup, the NBA Cup, the coveted NBA Cup, is heading to Los Angeles. Now, I know Adin has some hot takes on this, but let me get mine out real quickly. I thought this worked out beautifully for the NBA in the sense that they wanted to make basketball more meaningful in the month of November and December. Check mark, they did. Because let's face facts, November and December NBA basketball, that might as well be preseason. Like, I don't give a damn about NBA in November and December, and I think a lot of fans think that. They made this more competitive. Check mark. All right? A marquee franchise player / a marquee franchise made the tournament final. The Lakers and LeBron. Check. The NBA had a Cinderella story and created a star in the process with the Indiana Pacers and Tyrese Halliburton. Check. I think a lot of things went well for the NBA in this regard. It's just going to take a couple of years for the tradition to build up. But the Lakers won the first one, and the marquee franchise of the Lakers winning the first one, I think, is going to mean a lot to especially the bigger teams out there like the Celtics, the Warriors, the big teams, the Bucks, etc., right? I like it. I enjoyed it. Last night was fun. I like having fun with sports. Aiden, go ahead.
I mean, to me, it kind of felt like the hockey had the Winter Classic. That's usually like the big game of the regular season game of the year. Then you got baseball doing the Field of Dreams thing. That became a spectacle. Remember the White Sox and the Yankees? They had that game. I mean, it's a good little moment for LeBron and the Lakers. I feel like they're peaking right now, though.
But you gotta separate the regular season from this. It's a separate competition.
It is weird that the stats in the championship game or in the tournament don't count,
because it's technically not a regular season game. It is a in-season tournament game.
Yeah.
So when you look at it from the fact that it's a separate competition meant to drive more competitive basketball in the dormant months of November and December for the NBA, I think Adam Silver and them got it right. Do they need a few more tweaks? Of course they do.
Yeah, the layout of the tournament, how the teams were grouped, I'm like, man, that's really random. They should regionalize it.
Yeah, they got to do some kind of small tweaks.
And then there was a couple teams that only had one loss in group stage that didn't even make it to the quarterfinal. Like the Timberwolves, they lost one game, but they didn't make it in the.
That's what I'm saying.
There needs to be some tweaks, because I feel like I didn't feel like the best teams were in contention for this.
But they gave us moments that mattered. They gave teams some do or die moments. They gave teams, some young teams, some moments that they might not get to experience in the playoffs where, hey, we have to win this game. Backs against the wall. I thought it was good. If the Spurs would have been in this, if the Spurs would have been in the quarterfinal, I would have been hella excited to watch them possibly make it to the finals. But Spurs have lost, let's see, where are my notes at? Right here. Spurs have lost 16 in a row, so the Spurs suck, man. God, I hate this. Wemby's been doing good, but damn, they're 3-17, man. Oh my God.
I guess tank for Topic.
Whatever they're doing, they're in line right now to have 2 top 10 picks. They have their own pick and the Toronto pick.
Oh, that's right, from the Kawhi trade.
So,
okay.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. I hate that I'm talking draft picks in December, but that's what's going on with the Spurs. But overall, I thought the NBA got it right. Give me more competitive basketball. I loved it. Lakers took it home, which was awesome. And
I mean, you're a LeBron fan, so.
We'll see what happens. I am, unapologetically. All right, we got some more Cowboys-Eagles reactions coming up. I'll hit up the text line, and we got some college football to discuss. Keep it right here. It's the Sunday Sports Rush. Sports Rush 143. James and Adin with you. 361-882-5397. Continue to send your thoughts, your opinions, your predictions for Cowboys and Eagles tonight. It's going down right here on Keys. 6 p.m. pregame, 7:20 kickoff. Postgame to follow, Cowboys and Eagles. A crucial game tonight. We'll continue to sprinkle in some Cowboys and Eagles nuggets all throughout the show for you. But right now, I want you to get those takes in. 361-882-5397. Before we get going, just want to give a shout out to our wonderful sponsors. That is Crossroads Clinical Research. Some breaking news from Jerry Plemons right here on 1440 Keys. Santa Claus, the big guy himself, is coming right here to Corpus Christi, thanks to our friends over at Crossroads Clinical Research. Santa will be here from 5:30 to 7:30 on December the 19th at the Crossroads location on 1010 Ohio. So come get your picture with Santa, thanks to our friends, and learn about how you can make some extra money this holiday season. Call Jerry Plemons at 361-288-4668 for more info, or hit them up at number3cra.com. That's right, Santa Claus, December the 19th, 5:30 to 7:30 at the Crossroads location on 1010 Ohio. Thank you to Crossroads Clinical Research for sponsoring the show. Pretty awesome. The big guy going to be in town. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
Real quick, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
Damn.
Right off the bat. Come on.
Wow. Right off the rip. Favorite Christmas movie of all time. Ooh, this one's tough. Home Alone.
Home Alone? Which one? The first one or the second one?
First.
I think the second one's better.
I like the first one a little bit more. Because he's literally home.
True.
Second one, he's in New York, which is kind of cool, and they have that creepy bird lady.
Yeah.
But I like Home Alone 1. Home Alone 1 kind of set it off. Home Alone's a must-watch for me every Christmas season.
I mean, I like Christmas Story. I like Elf.
Okay, Christmas Story is good. I feel like it's getting a little old. Does it still hold up?
I think it still holds up a little bit.
And remember, they made Christmas Story Part 2 just recently. Have you seen that one?
No.
Okay, Elf is badass. I love Elf.
Elf is good.
What about Bad Santa?
But I haven't seen Bad Santa.
You haven't seen it with Billy Bob Thornton?
I actually haven't seen it, no.
Whoa, that's like right up your alley in terms of comedy and savagery. Yeah. Billy Bob goes off in that movie. That one's a good one. I would recommend you watch Bad Santa if we're going to have a Christmas movie recommendation. Bad Santa, everybody, but don't watch it in front of your children. It's more of an adult themed Christmas movie. 361-882-5397. Coach Smith is back in here. Coach Smith says the Eagles defense will be the difference. They are struggling on that side of the ball. Dak has to play well. Agreed, Coach. The Eagles defense is struggling. They aren't doing too hot in that regard. RR is in here. Shout out to RR. RR says, you guys got an awesome show. Keep up the great work. Signed, RR. We appreciate you, baby. We appreciate all of you guys.
We got to hang once again, man.
Yeah, let's go. Appreciate all of you guys getting in here this morning. Get us your predictions and takes on Cowboys and Eagles. Big game tonight. I want to know what you think about it. All right, Adin, are you ready? Let's dive into some college football talk. Because holy crap. Wow. I was telling you guys last week. I was telling Adin, I was telling Marcos, I was telling Alex Weister in our group chat all Saturday long, and especially when Florida State was struggling that night against Louisville. I was telling you guys that the committee could possibly leave out Florida State because of, number one, the Jordan Travis injury, and number two, because Florida State was playing poorly against Louisville offensively. And guess what? That is the exact reasoning from the College Football Committee on why they left out 13-0 Florida State from the playoff. I mean, give me your thoughts, Adin. I know you're very headstrong on this.
I don't think the committee watched the game, so apparently, did they think that Florida State was going to start their third-string quarterback against, and eventually Michigan? And also, it was raining that day, so it's raining, which you can't throw the ball that well in the rain. And second, it's their third-string quarterback that's not going to play. So they went off of watching their third-string quarterback.
That's what they said?
We saw. You remember how Alabama looked in the rain when they played their third-string quarterback against UCF or USF?
USF, yes.
Same thing. They scored 17 points. And you're going to kick out Florida State, who hadn't lost a game? Come on.
Look, I'm going to admit it right now. Florida State.
They got hosed.
Yeah, they got hosed. They got screwed out of the playoff. If you finish undefeated, you got to be rewarded for what you do on the field, guys.
Man, they set a bad
precedent.
Now, that precedent's going to go away with the 12-team playoff. But this was really bad. Like they're lucky that this is the last year this is going to happen.
Oh my God.
Because, man, that was just. I understand it's Alabama and they beat Georgia, and then they. I know you're gonna tick off a lot of SEC fans, but still, like, I think what happened too is that they would have wanted to put out Texas, but they did beat Bama head-to-head, and I think that's the only reason why Texas was in there.
The games matter. So look, this is the logic. This is the logic that is the College Football Playoff Committee, which has absolutely zero logic. They're full of a bunch of old heads, old coaches, people who've never stepped on a football field before, executives, etc., right? So if the games matter, right? Texas beat Alabama head-to-head. That game mattered, according to the committee. But the 13 wins that Florida State had going undefeated did not matter? And that's the logic here. What? are we going to start being selective with which games matter and which games don't matter? I think that's where the crux of this situation is and why Florida State eventually got screwed out of the playoff, in my opinion.
And now, I guess what Florida State could do, because there's really nothing they could do, I guess
they can skip out on the Orange Bowl.
I don't think they would do that. I'm guessing they would want to show that they belong there by beating Georgia.
Well, that's going to be a tall task.
It is a tall task, but say it does happen. In Georgia, we've seen UT beat a Georgia team several years ago in a bowl game.
Who, quote, didn't want to be in the Sugar Bowl.
I mean, there was like a little preview press conference with the two coaches, like Kirby Smart and Mike Norvell.
Oh my
god! And there's
God.
a screenshot, and they look so mad to be there.
They look like they did not want to be there at all. So, so as it stands, this is the college football playoff. Number 1 Michigan versus number 4 Alabama in the Rose Bowl, January the 1st. That's the first game. And then the nightcap is going to be number 2 Washington versus number 3 Texas in the Sugar Bowl in the night game on January the 1st. That's going to go down on Monday, January the 1st. Both those games. How do we feel about the college football playoff? And let me ask a question to you, and let me ask a question to the audience. 361-882-5397. Can Texas win this whole damn thing? Honestly, I feel really good about Texas's chances. I know I'm a Longhorn fan. I'm not trying to be a homer. Objectively speaking, I think Texas can play with any one of those 3 teams.
Yeah. Now, Jonathan Brooks not playing does hurt a little bit, but the running backs, that they have behind him in the platoon system look serviceable. I know Oklahoma State's not the best. That's not the best way to judge, but Texas really has a chance to win this. Bama's not. This is not a dominating Bama team. They squeaked by a lot of games.
They barely beat Auburn on a 4th and forever.
And just imagine, had that play not made, we wouldn't have this conversation. Florida State's probably in. You know what I'm saying? Like Bama eliminates Georgia, but they have 2 losses, right? So you have to put in Florida State.
Make your prediction right now. Who's in the championship game?
It's gonna be UT Bama rematch.
You think so?
Yeah. And right now I would lean. It depends on what happens, but I would lean UT by 3.
Wow. I cannot believe this is actually being discussed. And the interesting thing about the championship game this year is going to be held in Houston.
I think that
would be a home game
now,
for
Washington
UT.
Washington is definitely not a cakewalk. But they've had a lot of close games too.
And the one thing about Texas that concerns me the most, especially going up against Michael Penix, who was a Heisman finalist, is the fact that Washington has a stellar passing attack. They got that wide receiver Roma Dunze, who's really good, and the Texas secondary is, they're kind of depleted, man. They struggled. They gave up a lot of passing yards to Oklahoma State in the championship game. They were one of the reasons why they couldn't stop that Oklahoma offense in the Cotton Bowl. The secondary for Texas is the obvious weak point for that team and for that defense, and the strength of Washington is the passing attack.
Well, Washington has a good running back too, Johnson.
So, but Texas does have one of the best fronts with Outland Trophy winner T'Vondre Sweat.
We could preview this.
We're going to have tons of time to preview the actual game.
But Michigan and Bama, there is that audio with Michigan. But here's the thing: why did they only show Michigan? Why didn't they show I'm pretty sure UT
was celebrating.
I know, but when Bama was announced, I'm pretty sure UT and Washington, they were all shocked as the nation was that.
So
it looked more like they were shocked that Florida State was left out.
Okay. Well, let's hear the audio real quickly. Michigan was sitting in their conference room, and they were awaiting to see who they were going to play and who was going to be the number 4 spot. Here's the audio courtesy of ESPN and of Michigan Athletics.
Wins Michigan, number 5, heartbroken. Who's number 4?
Okay. Let me just say something.
That does sound more like shock.
It sounds like they were shocked, I can't believe Florida State was out.
Yeah.
And I can't believe Alabama's in. But also, it's just a really bad look because they showed Alabama's logo, and you kind of sensed a little bit of fear. Just a tad bit of, holy crap, we finished number 1 in the nation, and we got to play Bama.
I think Michigan will. I think that's going to be a really good game. I just don't know about McCarthy. Bama's going to force McCarthy to pass, and that's where I'm that's a little worrisome. You know what I'm saying?
That's going to be the game that is low scoring. That's going to be the slugfest, the old school kind of run the ball type of game right there.
Yeah, because this Michigan team is better than the team that got blown out by Georgia a couple years ago. And this Michigan team is better than the one last year that sold against TCU. So I think that was going to be a close game, but McCarthy being quarterback, it's a little worrisome for me.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Michigan's had 2 times in the semifinals, and both times they've got their butts whooped. A couple years ago, they got whooped by Georgia in the Orange Bowl. Last year, they were in a dogfight with TCU, but they lost.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't shown up so far in the semifinals, so we'll talk more of that as it gets closer. We got Quentin in here on the text line. Shout out to Quentin. Quentin says, I'm old enough to remember when undefeated was undefeated no matter the schedule. Committee. The committee picked more off the eye test than who was worthy. If you were going to do that, just pick Georgia then. Heck, Ohio State. The correct call was Michigan, Washington, Florida State, Texas. Signed, Quentin.
And here's the thing.
I agree, Quentin. I agree. Undefeated should matter.
And here's the thing with the rankings, too. So they put Florida State at 5. If they're going to slide in Bama over Florida State, why wouldn't you put Florida State underneath Ohio State or Georgia? Doesn't make any sense.
So technically, the committee thinks that Florida State's better than Georgia.
Yeah.
Okay. It's interesting. We did have a Heisman Trophy presentation last night. Congratulations to the LSU quarterback, Jaden Daniels.
That the 2023 Heisman Trophy winner is Jaden Daniels from Louisiana State University.
So Jaden Daniels is that guy. Transferred from Arizona State a couple of years back. He's a senior, 6'4", 210 pounds, 3,800 passing yards, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, a 95.7 quarterback rating.
And the Heisman Award, it's an individual award. It's not, there's been several times where a quarterback with 3 losses in the regular season won. You got RG3 of Baylor. Tim Tebow won the Heisman the year that Florida, I believe, lost 2 or 3 games in the regular season. It was 2007, I believe. And I'm thinking, Lamar Jackson, Louisville lost 3 games, and he still won. So he was just the best individual quarterback this year. And it's not his fault. LSU's defense was really bad. So
Ryan L. is in here on the text line, 361-882-5397. Ryan L., he has a pretty long text, but I'm just going to surmise this the best I can, Ryan L., for time purposes. Ryan L.'s arguing that Jordan Travis's injury, wouldn't the same logic apply to Alabama's victory over a possibly, arguably watered-down Georgia in the SEC championship game? Here's what Ryan means. He says, during the starting lineups, Brad Nessler mentioned that Georgia's top 2 receivers were hurt. Ra Thomas, the deep threat, and someone else. Also, Ladd McConkey got hurt during the game, too. So does that mean that Alabama didn't really beat the real Georgia due to all the Georgia injuries? Just like the College Football Committee said that Florida State isn't the real Florida State anymore without Jordan Travis? Just a question, LOL. You see how we start getting into these weird arguments now that injuries matter?
I mean, majority of people think that, what the committee did was wrong, so I'm glad there's a thing there, but it just leaves a bad taste in the mouth. Hopefully Florida State, can beat Georgia, so that way they could, whoever's a champion, whether it be UT, at Bama,
And the thing that happened with Florida State is this. No matter what, in this 4-team college football era, right, 4-team college football playoff era, they were never going to leave an SEC team out of it. The SEC has a seat at the table all the time. And Florida State thought that they had a seat. Florida State thought that they were at the big kids table, and they found out very harshly that the committee does not think that Florida State is one of the big kids.
And the ACC was actually 6-4 against the SEC in the regular season.
Oh, just craziness. Also, shout out to Army yesterday. They defeated the Navy midshipmen 17-11, and the score actually went over the projected 27.5 points because Army took a safety on the last play, which put the betting over at 28.
That's a bad beat.
That's a bad beat for whoever took the under, but that's a hell of a win for whoever took the over.
I mean, what a battle in the trenches that was in the final play.
Army got a stop in the trenches.
I would think Army would have a advantage in the trenches.
And real quickly, because I know we're going to have a short segment next, but I love the Army-Navy game. I watched practically every single minute of that. It was enthralling. It was, I don't know, the pageantry, the passion, everything about it. That is a stop-down, must-watch game for me every single season. And that wraps up our college football discussion. Get your takes in on the text line, 361-882-5397. I want to hear from you guys. It's Cowboys and Eagles game day. Give me some predictions. Give me some thoughts on that game as we inch closer and closer to Sunday Night Football. Coming up next, the biggest contract in North American sports history. Shohei, more like show paid. We're talking that after the break.
Yo, peep the style and the kids checking for it.
Sunday Sports Rush, episode 143. It's James and it's Adin with you. Hanging out till 11 a.m. Coming up in about 10 minutes or so, we'll have some NFL headlines for week number 14. We'll continue to dive into more Cowboys and Eagles discussion. Going to sprinkle in some news and notes for you guys. 10:30, Alex Weister joins us for some NFL pick'em, and we'll talk some Texas high school football because the state championships are coming up next week live from Jerry World. Love you guys. Thank you all for getting in. 361-882-5397. Marcos M. is in on the text line. Yes, our very own Marcos Matakin texted in just right now. Marcos says, as much as I hate the fact that an undefeated team is left out of the playoffs, FSU is just flat out not as good as any of the teams in the college football playoff plus Georgia. Signed, Marcos.
Well, then put Florida State underneath Georgia in the rankings. The committee just completely just put out any sense and logic just out the window.
The committee's a bunch of idiots, man.
And they even Florida State even got hosed by their own ACC representative, Boo Corrigan.
That is so savage, dude.
Like
he's the NC State, right? He's from NC State.
Yeah, there's has to be some bad blood there because
wow.
I think Florida State wants to leave now.
They want to get out of the ACC. There's rumors Florida State might be joining the Big Ten, dude. Apparently the SEC, for whatever reason, the Southeastern Conference does not want Florida State for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on there, but they just don't have Florida State in high regard.
I think they want Clemson, right?
They want
the team that
the Clemson. They want the North Carolinas, the Virginias. They want those type of teams.
Florida State's right there in the South.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It does not make sense, but the Big Ten to Florida State rumors are going to start heating up here pretty damn soon, so pay attention to that. All right, let's talk some Major League Baseball because Shohei Ohtani is now the biggest, highest paid player in North American history. 7 years, $700 million. He is a Los Angeles Dodger, Adin.
Yeah.
You called it the whole time. You said the Dodgers were going to be that team.
I called it from last season.
And because when you look at what the Dodgers did these past two off seasons, did you realize that the Dodgers payroll was slightly less than the Colorado Rockies payroll this season? Did you realize that? This was a strategic thing that was happening for the past 2 years where the Dodgers were shedding payroll in order to save up to go get Ohtani. And they did. And now Shohei's in LA. Well, he's still in LA, but this time he's going to be wearing the blue and white. And look, you might say, damn, I hate whenever these big teams spend money and get all the big superstars. I don't care about that. This is what I care about. I care about growing the game of baseball. I care about Shohei Ohtani being on a franchise who's actually relevant. I care about Shohei Ohtani being in a perennial playoff contender and possibly a World Series contender. That's what I care about. This will put more eyes on the game of Major League Baseball because you went from being on the little brother Los Angeles team to now being on the big dog Los Angeles team. I love this move for Major League Baseball. I still hate the Dodgers, but I love the move. Shohei's going to be in the spotlight where he should be.
Yeah, at least like Shohei will experience playoff baseball. Because let's be real, the Dodgers are always going to win regular season games.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to take them to the championship because we've seen the Dodgers falter before. It's like, it's not going to – I don't think it moves the needle there, but at least Shohei will experience playoff baseball. And who knows, maybe they'll actually not lose to an 80-win team within their division.
That is the thing. And look, there was all these rumors circulating the past couple of days We had some Big J journalists battling each other for sources. John Morosi versus Bob Nightingale, who were just going back at it, saying Shohei's on the plane to Toronto. That's what Morosi reported. Nightingale reported he's not on the plane to Toronto. Just a lot of dips and turns in this saga.
Here's what I think happened. I think he was gonna go to Toronto to see what they had to offer, right?
Yeah.
I think he was going to. I think that report came out a little early, and I think the Dodgers must have sent Shohei something whenever they heard that.
Whenever they heard Toronto happen, that put the Dodgers into, holy crap, we got to up the offer now.
Yeah.
And force the Dodgers' hand, which could have been a strategic play from Shohei's camp.
So I mean, Morosi, it is a bad look whenever you get something like that wrong, but I feel like there was a little smoke there. So, you know what I'm saying?
So they probably got juked, which happens.
But this was basically every baseball fan where they saw the $700 million in 70 million in 10 years. I mean, a year. I mean, sorry, 70 million for a year.
Yes.
Basically, you're making $70 million a year.
That is crazy.
Yeah, this is every baseball fan.
Crazy. And, of course, the Japanese announcers who were reacting to a Shohei home run right there.
Yeah,
man, just absolutely crazy. But, look, Juan Soto's a Yankee now.
Yeah.
The Yankees traded for Juan Soto. That's a huge move. The Yankees are trying to stack up and load up. I like what's happening now. Now that Shohei has signed, and start anticipating some more moves to happen. That was kind of like the first domino that needed to fall to, of course, set the market. And now everybody else is going to be working, obviously, under that Shohei contract. I don't think anybody in Major League Baseball is going to be getting Shohei money anytime soon. He's a $700 million athlete.
Yeah, that's going to be the biggest contract ever in baseball. There's no surpassing that contract.
That's crazy. $70 million a season, and Shohei is a Los Angeles Dodger.
Yeah, now he's not going to be pitching next year. He's just going to be hitting.
Yeah,
so I feel like when he starts pitching, if he's back to normal, I think that's when it's going to help the Dodgers out.
361-882-5397. Quentin says the Dodgers had to respond because my Diamondbacks made the World Series. You're right about that, Quentin. The D-backs, baby. Quentin also says the Florida Gators don't want Florida State in the SEC.
Hey, Diamondbacks made a couple good moves. Got that Rodriguez from the Tigers, and they traded that for Eugenio Suarez, third baseman. Yeah.
So there we go. Good call right there. We got hour number 2 coming up. We're live from the Americana Arms Studios. Big city selection, small town prices. You're listening to News Talk KEYS Corpus Christi. We got NFL headlines coming up at the top of the hour. Stick around. Good morning, Corpus Christi, Coastal Bend listeners worldwide. It's hour number 2 of the Sunday Sports Rush right here on News Talk KEYS, 1440 AM and 98.7 FM. I am your host, James Espinosa, joined alongside best friend, producer. He is the co-host of this show. It's Adin Ducker.
Cougars, I love Cougars.
We got a packed hour number 2 for you today.
I sure do.
We got some Texas high school football talk to end the show. The state championships are upon us. At 10:30, Alex Weister will join us to pick some NFL games for this week, number 14. Coming up in 15 minutes, we got our Cowboys and Eagles official preview and predictions. Right now, we do talk some NFL headlines, and I got some guys in here on the text line. Let me just get to Marcos real quick because he has a quick Shohei follow-up. I don't mean to juke us out. But Marcos has a quick Shohei follow-up, Aiden. Marcos says Shohei going to Toronto would have been bad for baseball. This is one of the best possible for growing the game of baseball as a whole. I agree, Marcos. I agree with that. LA, he could grow the game a lot more than he would have in Toronto, in my estimation. Now, let's move on to some NFL. Got some guys in here on Twitter predicting Cowboys and Eagles. 361-882-5397. Hit us up on the text line. Let us know. Who wins tonight between Cowboys and Eagles? Give us your bold predictions. Mark D is on Twitter. He's hitting me up at Sir Edward James. Mark D says 41-20 Cowboys. CD gets the first 3-touchdown game of his career. Your thoughts on that, Adin Ducker?
CD gets the first three touchdown game of his career.
He hasn't had 3 touchdowns in a game.
I think it's a couple. I'm not sure about 3. I remember Amari Cooper. Didn't he get a 3-touchdown game several years ago.
A few years back, that is correct, against those very Eagles. We got Aaron B. in here. Aaron B. has Cowboys 32, Eagles 21. Aaron says CeeDee Lamb has another 100-plus yard game, and Deron Bland gets an interception. Okay, I like that. So both these guys got the Cowboys winning by double digits. That's a lot. I'm not sure it's going to be a double-digit contest. I think it'll be a lot tighter than that. But both these guys have CeeDee Lamb having a huge game tonight, which I won't disagree. I think CeeDee Lamb could have a huge game tonight against this very poor Eagles defense, which statistically ranks in the bottom 5 in a lot of big defensive metrics in the NFL, which I'll dive into that a little bit later. Speaking of the Eagles, Nick Bosa, defensive end for the San Francisco 49ers, had some things to say about the Eagles this past week. The 49ers have been talking all kinds of smack on the Eagles this week, Aiden Ducker. 42-19, the 49ers beat the Eagles. And the Niners have been talking some smack. Deebo Samuel's been talking smack. Bosa's been talking smack. They went into Philadelphia and snatched their souls last weekend. Now, this is what Nick Bosa had to say in the locker room. He was being interviewed by some San Francisco media. I believe this is courtesy of the San Francisco Chronicle. Here's Nick Bosa talking about the blueprint to defeat the Philadelphia Eagles.
So, yeah, you just have to be disciplined, and obviously we put the blueprint out there. Hopefully Cowboys watch the tape. We made Jalen stay in the pocket and escape outside instead of those B gaps, and paid off. Because Jalen's looking at the rush every play. So, yeah, you just have to be disciplined and not give him that quick escape route where he could get to his guys quick.
A lot of people hated on Nick Bosa for saying this out loud, but you know what? Nick Bosa's not wrong. Nick Bosa is not wrong. The best way to beat Jalen Hurts is to keep him in the well, keep him in the pocket, force him to be a true pocket passer. And like Nick Bosa said, take away the B gap so he cannot scramble forward and look for his guys on the run. That is how you beat him. Jalen Hurts.
Is it?
Yes, it is. They just beat the hell out of him last week doing that.
I mean, I remember last year in the Super Bowl, he was doing nothing but throwing for the pocket, and he was lighting the Chiefs defense up. It's not like that's like, I mean, I think it's a pick your poison thing.
I think Jalen Hurts is not the same guy he was last year. I think those legs are not the same as they were last year. I think the accumulation of hits that Jalen Hurts is taking is taking a toll on his body.
Cowboys getting a little too overconfident. Y'all are setting yourselves up.
This is not me being Cowboy fan right now. This is me giving some observations, dude. Look, if you think Jalen Hurts is playing at the MVP level like he was last year, I don't see it. I see Jalen Hurts as a guy who's late on his reads. I see Jalen Hurts as a guy who's looking to run first before he passes. That's what I'm seeing.
I mean, he was leading the MVP race until last week. I mean, it's not like
he was not leading the MVP race. Yeah. Dak Prescott's been the leader for like the last 2 weeks already.
Cowboys fans, blue shades coming out of you
again. This is
not
blue shades, dude. Look, Nick Bosa literally just told you what they did to force him into the situation last week.
And what the Niners have done?
What do you mean what the Niners have done? They have the #1 record in the NFC.
Yeah, but they haven't done anything special.
No, they haven't, but we're not talking about the end game. We're talking about what happened last week.
It's a regular season game.
And they put a pounding on Jalen Hurts, dude. They did.
Let's
be honest.
The Niners at the front run. They're a front running team, man. You get the Niners in a close game and they falter and choke. We've seen that time and time again.
All right, you can believe that all you want, but I'm in agreement with Nick Bosa. I think Nick Bosa said some really, really good things right there in terms of how to stop Jalen Hurts. And the Cowboys should have been watching film, and hopefully they did, and we'll see what happens tonight. 361-882-5397. All right.
I mean, yeah, well, we'll have to agree to disagree there.
We can agree to disagree, but I want to know what the audience thinks.
I always hate, we found a blueprint. People have been saying that for years about other elite quarterbacks. Blueprint. The Eagles are a good enough organization to not let one loss affect them.
Jalen Hurts hasn't been playing the best football.
This is a Cowboys fan praying on Jalen Hurts' down. You're praying on Jalen Hurts' downfall.
I'm just telling you that he hasn't been playing the best football.
I mean,
like the Eagles' offense is not that outstanding, dude. They can't run the ball to save their lives. It's all chuck plays. It's all throwing downfield and hoping things happen.
One more thought. In terms of,
one more thought, because
okay.
Look, it's Cowboys Eagles. This is the big game today.
I like how Niners fans and the team are saying this is what happens when we have Brock Purdy in as a quarterback. This is what would have happened.
Okay.
It's y'all's fault that he got injured. Y'all's O-line couldn't block for crap.
But let's be honest, last week, Brock Purdy wasn't lighting up the world. Brock Purdy had a lot of yards after catch.
I don't get the Brock Purdy MVP. There's a lot of weapons on that field.
I mean,
he's playing great. He'll probably be like a Pro Bowler.
Did you see last week when Deebo Samuel and company were running 60-plus yards after the catch? Those are inflated passing numbers.
Brock Purdy is like a Pro Bowler this year. I'll give him that.
Okay.
He's not the MVP. He's not an MVP, though.
No, not even close to being the MVP. Dak Prescott has him by a mile, in my opinion. All right, through 13 weeks of the NFL season, 12 teams have a winning record, 8 teams are at 500, and 12 teams have a losing record. That's a pretty balanced league, if you ask me. And look, I'm looking at the AFC. I'm looking at the NFC. In my opinion, the AFC's wide open. The Chiefs did not look great in Green Bay. I don't know, man. I don't have a good feeling about the Chiefs this year.
How many times have we said that about the Pats? Like, they look kind of beatable, and then they're always back in the AFC title game contending for Super Bowls. The Chiefs are going to be right back in that AFC title game again. Will they make the Super Bowl? Maybe. That's a coin flip. But they're still going to be in that AFC title game.
And it's going to be a question of, can you beat them in the playoff, right? But
yeah, real quick.
Right now, the Chiefs are the 3 seed. They're right behind the Ravens, who are the 2 seed, and the Dolphins, who are the 1 seed. Now, if it holds out like this, the Chiefs will have to go on the road to get to the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes has never played a road game in the playoffs. That's a crazy stat. But these Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, they've never had to go on the road to win a game in the playoffs. And I know people will say, well, dude, they've been to the Super Bowl multiple times. There's something about going on the road and doing it, though. It's a different animal. They haven't been tested like that. And this year, they might have to be tested like that, which I'm saying I'm not that confident in the Chiefs getting back to the Super Bowl.
I mean, it's kind of like the Pats. It's just that because I remember the Pats did not look as good on the road.
Yeah.
But they were hardly ever on the road because they always won and were always at home. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
well, this year might be different for the Chiefs. And then you talk about the Jaguars. They're the number 4 seed at 8-4, but it's questionable if Trevor Lawrence is going to play today.
That was kind of a bad. I mean, I know the Bengals, they still have a good roster, but that was kind of a bad loss.
Bad loss, dude. Browning lit them up, bro.
Yeah, he did.
And it wasn't just like, it was efficient light up. The way Browning handled that Jaguars defense.
No, I'm not saying that, Burrow's still that dude, but still, it's like I think Browning might win himself a job maybe. Possibly, but yeah, my Jaguar stock is starting to slide a little bit.
I'll tell you who could use a Browning, the Browns. I mean, they're trying to start Joe Flacco today. We'll see what happens. They're 7-5. The Colts are 7-5. The Texans are 7-5. Texans are the 7th seed and the last seed in the playoffs.
The Colts too are winning games with Minshew.
Minshew should be a starting quarterback somewhere.
Me and Alex have been on this train for a while. Gardner Minshew deserves to be a starting quarterback somewhere.
I think so.
Like, who knows? With Anthony Richardson, he looked good, but who knows if those shoulder injuries are going to hold up. That's always a big boo-boo.
Let's look at the NFC. This is how the NFC playoff picture looks heading into week 4. Well, 14, I should say. Eagles, 1 seed, 10-2. Niners, 2 seed, 9-3. Lions, 3 seed, 9-3. Falcons, 4 seed, 6-6. Cowboys are the 5th seed at 9-3. And then the 6th seed is the Vikings at 6-6. The Cowboys have a 3-game lead over the Vikings in the 6th seed. The Cowboys pretty much have the 5th seed on lock. They'll play the NFC South champion in the playoff on the road.
Well, I mean, as of now, the Cowboys actually figure out how to beat a good team, like the Eagles tonight, then
they might be in contention for the division and possible 2 seed.
I got the Packers taking that Viking spot.
Packers are the 7th seed at 6-6. The Rams are 6-6. They're the 8th seed.
Got the Packers making the playoffs.
I like what I saw out of Jordan Love. And look, Jordan Love's played some really damn good football these past few weeks.
It took him half a season to get going, but now he's getting going. And the way I watched him move in the pocket, very Aaron Rodgers early in his career reminiscent. Just the he's not like a runner, but he's very mobile in and out of the pocket.
So strange how much he looks like Rodgers, the way he moves, the arm angles that he throws at sometimes, the throws on the run. I mean, I know he's wearing the same color jersey that Rodgers wore for the majority of his career, but I really liked what I saw out of Love.
I think he finally he's the guy now. He's the guy there.
I think it's solidified. Like, no, keep going with him.
Now, is he going to be MVP candidate yet? Well, we'll have to wait and see. But at least
it's a good story if the Packers make the playoffs.
Aaron Rodgers' first year, it took him half a season to get things going. They barely missed the playoffs, and then
right now, as it stands, after the Niners dismantling of the Eagles last week, I think the Niners are the best team in the NFC. Point blank, I just think they are. Dude, they put 42 up against the Eagles and the Cowboys.
I mean, I still have the Niners winning the Super Bowl. Like,
yeah,
it's just that how they act is like, they're always picking a fight with people.
You're very put off with their attitude.
Yeah, it's just like at least earn it on the field. Like,
and what about that big dummy, Big Dom, who got thrown out of the game last week? That Philadelphia scumbag got thrown out of the game last week for touching Dre Greenlaw. That was out of line.
I was on the side of the Niners on that one. I feel like Dre Greenlaw was like, "Who's this guy touching me?"
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
don't do that, dummy.
I think he's gonna be suspended.
Yeah, he's gonna be suspended. Not on the sidelines tonight for the Eagles. And speaking of Cowboys and Eagles, let's take a break right here, because coming up next, it's our official Cowboys versus Eagles scouting segment. We scout the Eagles, we give you our biggest takes from the game, and we'll give you some predictions. Keep it locked. It's the Sunday Sports Rush. Sunday Sports Rush, News Talk KEYS. James and Adin hanging with you. Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll pick some NFL games for the Week 14 slate. Alex Weister will be giving us a call from the DFW, Dave Campbell's Texas football's own. Can't wait for that. Raul's in here on the text line, 361-882-5397. Raul says, love the show. Thank you, Raul, for listening, my guy. We love hearing that stuff. Appreciate y'all guys getting in this morning. Let us know where you're at. Give us some Cowboys and Eagles predictions. We still got 30 or about 45 minutes left with you. Cowboys, Eagles predictions. Hit us up on the text line, 361-882-5397. Adrian's in here. Adrian says, Cowboys dominate from the jump, 45-17. Hurts does not finish the game after 5 sacks. Bland with another pick 6. Wow. Okay, that is a take. Speaking of that, let's talk some Cowboys and Eagles. Let's go. It's time to preview this game. Sunday Night Football, 7:20 kickoff tonight, right here on News Talk KEYS, 1440 AM, 98.7 FM. Pregame at 6 p.m. Postgame following the conclusion of the show. Cowboys are 9-3. Eagles are 10-2. A win for the Cowboys tonight would put them in first place momentarily in the NFC East. The last meeting took place on November the 5th, Week 9. Philadelphia won 28-23. The injury report for both teams. Dallas Goedert is expected to play tonight for Philadelphia, the tight end. For the Cowboys, everybody's good to go. Tight end Peyton Hendershot returns from the injured reserve list. So that's pretty awesome. Some numbers to know for Cowboys and Eagles. Dak Prescott has a 30-8 career record against the NFC East. Since 2016, Prescott's 30 wins against the East are the second most wins against his division, trailing only the legendary Tom Brady with 31. The Cowboys have scored at least 40 points in 5 games in 2023, tied for the most 40-point games in a season in team history. That's pretty cool. Dak owns Philadelphia. 8-4 career record against the Philadelphia Eagles, which is pretty awesome if you ask me. I feel confident about this game tonight. Now, the Cowboys offense, one of the best in the NFL. They put up numbers up the yin-yang, people. This is how shockingly bad the Philadelphia defense is. They're weak. It's shocking. Here's some of the numbers for the Eagles defense. The Eagles defense is 29th in passing yards, They're 32nd in third downs. 32nd. That's last in the NFL in third downs. They cannot get off the field.
Yeah.
They're 29th in red zone. They give up points if you get to the red zone. They're 28th in explosive plays. They're 29th in points per drive. And they're 26th in turnovers. Those are bottom of the league numbers for this Eagles defense. They are not good.
So I'm expecting an elite performance out of Dak if you feel like he's the MVP.
Okay, cool. Hey, Dak Prescott put 374 and 3 touchdowns on them last time.
Yeah, but
guess what? It wasn't his fault they lost.
I mean, they still had a chance to win the game, and they blew it.
Oh, yeah, if Terrence Steele could block anybody, yes, he gave up 12 pressures the last game. And that is a key tonight. Terrence Steele has to be able to handle the pass rush of the Eagles because the Eagles front, that line, is their strength. Hassan Reddick, Graham, Sweat, those guys are going to be coming for Dak Prescott, and they will be attacking Terrence Steele because Terrence Steele was a freaking sieve, a saloon door the last game.
He sure was.
12 pressures given up, multiple sacks given up. But the Cowboys can have their way with this defense, and Dak Prescott already showed he could in that first game. And now they're at home. So we'll see what happens where the Cowboys have a 14-game winning streak. The Cowboys are first in points per game at 32.3. They're fifth in yards per game at 380. And they're first in 10-play drives. The Cowboys put together long, sustained drives. And Adin, you mentioned this about Mike McCarthy. That's a credit to Mike McCarthy for scheming together and putting together some long drives that lets their defense rest up. So some big things to look at tonight, Adin. What are you looking at in this Eagles-Cowboys matchup?
I mean, I'm looking at a very close game. I think Jalen Hurts is going to play better than what you think. Like, we found the blueprint to be him. He's an elite quarterback. He's not.
Don't throw around the word elite.
Yeah. Now you're doing it again.
No, I'm just saying.
He's an elite quarterback in the league. He's elite.
Okay.
Had the defense not sold, he would be a Super Bowl champion right now.
So he's Patrick Mahomes elite.
I'm not saying he's nobody's Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
Like,
so, but he's
like with Burrow. He's
interesting. Okay, go ahead.
Jalen Hurts would be a Super Bowl champion had the Eagles defense got to stop.
Oh wow,
yeah.
The Eagles defense that's so bad.
Yeah.
Yes, that's why the Eagles are not going to go where y'all think they're going this year because that Eagles defense is so poor, and that's a legitimate criticism, dude.
I mean that doesn't take away the fact that Jalen Hurts is elite quarterback. He is.
Okay, look. You might say elite. Say elite.
I've seen Drew
That's
Brees.
fine.
I've seen Drew Brees with a lot of bad defenses over the years blow games. Was he not an elite quarterback? He pretty sure he was. Same thing. Peyton Manning had a lot of bad defenses in Indianapolis.
Here's something.
So was an elite quarterback.
That's fine. Okay, I'll give you that take.
Jalen Hurts is elite. ELITE, elite. I know it hurts Cowboys fans hearing that, but that's the truth. He's going to be a thorn in y'all's side no matter what.
We shall see tonight if he is that elite or not. All right? Since Week 8, the Eagles' defense has played 362 snaps, which is easily the most in the NFL for the 5 games they have played since then. The average NFL defense during that span is at 289, and some teams are at 250. Eagles' defense is tired. Like I was mentioning last week, those boys are worn out. Terrence Steele is going to need to have a big game against Hassan Reddick, Brandon Graham, and Josh Sweat. All had their way with Steele. How can Dallas slow up that pass rush? The Eagles will be trying to attack them all night. When the Eagles have the ball, Dallas must prove what happened against the Seahawks won't be duplicated versus the Eagles. The Eagles just saw the blueprint from the Seahawks on how to attack that Dallas secondary. Dallas has to shore that up because A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and the returning Dallas Goedert, they could have a big game if that Cowboys secondary is not where it's at. For the Cowboys, you cannot let Jalen escape the pocket. You cannot let him make plays with his feet. He is a dangerous man. Jalen Hurts, 19 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 12 rushing touchdowns. Yes, dynamic. Yes, hell of a player. You got to make sure he cannot beat you with his feet, and I think that is a fair take. Prediction, Aiden Ducker.
Give me, because I've had this all year. I like to stick with my beginning season predictions. I did have the Eagles as a wild card, the number 1 wild card. I did have the Cowboys as the number 2 seed. They would have to win this game in order to do so. Give me the Cowboys 30, Eagles 27.
Wow!
I think Dak steps up. They get a field goal to end the game. I think Jalen Hurts plays well. He's gonna play a good game. He's gonna have a good game. So,
oh my God! I cannot believe you picked the Cowboys. Well, it's time for me to give my prediction. Adin has 30-27 Cowboys. I have the Cowboys with the same mark, Adin. Cowboys 30, Eagles 23. It's a touchdown game. I think the Cowboys defense comes up with a crucial turnover in the fourth quarter at some point. And I think Dak Prescott continues his hot streak against this very poor Eagles defense. Give me Dak Prescott with 3 touchdown passes, about 320 yards through the air. I like it. I'm confident tonight. I think the Cowboys can beat the Eagles. I think the Cowboys will beat this Eagles team that is reeling from that San Francisco loss. Get your takes in here on the text line. Who wins tonight, Cowboys or Eagles? 361-882-5397. Text us right now your predictions. Coming up next, Alex Weister's on the line. We pick some NFL games. It's the Sunday Sports Rush. Keep it locked. Sports Rush, episode 143. James Espinosa and Adin Ducker with you. We just had our big Cowboys and Eagles segment where we made our predictions for tonight's big game. You want a prediction? I got a prediction for you right here. Santa Claus is coming to town. The big guy himself is coming right here to Corpus Christi thanks to our friends over at Crossroads Clinical Research. Santa will be here from 5:30 to 7:30 on December the 19th at the Crossroads location on 1010 Ohio. Come get your picture with Santa. Go sit on his lap. Get your picture with him. And thanks to our friends, you can learn about how you can make some extra money this holiday season with Jerry Plemons and Crossroads. Hit up Jerry Plemons at 361-288-4668 for more info. Santa coming to town December the 19th. Crossroads location on 1010 Ohio. Thank you to Crossroads Clinical Research for sponsoring the show. All right, got some quick Cowboys predictions in here before we get Alex Weister on. Edward says Cowboys 29, Eagles 17. Tomasina says Cowboys are going to win. I'll say the score is going to be really close, 27-24. Bill Denton, our good friend Bill's in here. Shout out to Bill of Allen Samuels Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Aransas Pass. Bill Denton says this is much more complete Cowboys team than we saw in Week 9. Cowboys 34, Eagles 24. And with that being said, it's time to make some NFL picks. Coming on the line, we got Lone Star Emmy Sports Award winner, UNT's own, Dave Campbell's Texas Football Zone, and Texan Live's own. It is Alex Weister. Good morning, Alex.
What's up, boys? I hear I'm going to be here for an extended stay this morning for a little bit of an extra segment.
That is correct. You will be with us for the duration of the show. Going to talk a little bit of Texas high school football here in the upcoming moments. But right now, Alex, we made our Cowboys predictions. I got Cowboys winning 30-23. Marcos has the Eagles actually winning 33-27. And Adin has the Cowboys winning 30-27. We'll start right there. Who do you have tonight between Cowboys and Eagles?
I'm going to take the Eagles 31-24. We all have it around the same range. I think it's going to be a close game. Both teams are going to score a decent amount, but I'm going to have the Eagles slightly.
All righty. So you're going Eagles.
I want to put an upset on it.
No.
Because the Cowboys are a slight favorite at 3.5 points tonight. So no upset for you. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's hit the music, and let's get some NFL picks going for week number 14 here on the Sunday Sports Rush. The standings are as follows. Marcos is in the lead with 74 wins. Adin, you're in second place with 68. I am in third place with 63. And Alex, you got 62 wins. Adin went 5-3 last week. Alex went 4-4. Marcos went 5-3. And I went 4-4. So a little bit of a 500-ish week for all of us around these parts. Let's start with our first game. We got Colts at Bengals. The Colts are 7-5. They're led by Gardner Minshew. They're on the road at the Bengals, who are 6-6, led by Jake Browning, who tore up the Jacksonville Jaguars on Monday Night Football. The Bengals are 2.5-point favorites. I'll give this one to you first, Alex Weister. Who do you got?
You know what? I'm going to come out swinging. I'm going to take the Colts as my upset pick.
Oh, he did it. Colts with the upset. Colts with the upset. You're feeling Gardner, aren't you?
Yes. I mean, it's Gardner Minshew, Minshew Mania. I've said I love that guy so many different times. I like Zach Moss taking in for Jonathan Taylor. Yes, the Bengals had an impressive win. I think that's going to be probably Jake Browning's best game of the season. I like the Colts in this one.
All righty, Adin, who do you got?
Oh, man, took it right from me, man. Gotta go with the Colts. I picked against them quite a bit, and they've kind of bit me in the rear when every time I pick against them. So I'm gonna pick for them. I think the Bengals are gonna come out. They're coming off a win on a high. I know it's at home, but I'm buying into the Minshew Mania hype. I think Steichen has done a great job coaching this team.
Yes, he has. I think so, too. Look, and I'm going to be fair with you. I'm going to go ahead and add on to that. I'm going to go Colts as well. I like the Colts. I like Shane Steichen. I like Gardner. They had a very gutty win last week in Tennessee. I mean, this team is just finding ways to win, and right now they're in a playoff chase. They're in the playoffs. They got to keep winning. This is prime for them to go into Cincinnati and get a win. Give me the Colts. Next game up, Jaguars at Browns. It just came out this morning that Trevor Lawrence is going to play. The Jags are 8-4. They're at the Browns, who are 7-5. The Browns are starting Joe Flacco. The Browns are 2-point favorites in Cleveland. Aiden's raising his hand. I think I know what he's doing.
Yeah,
go ahead, Aiden.
This is my backup if the Colts were taken. So give me the Jaguars as my upset in this one.
Okay, you're going Jags. Are you comfortable with Trevor, man? He got folded up pretty nice this last game, dude. It didn't look good.
It doesn't look good, but the Jaguars are coming off a loss. I think they're going to play better. The Browns, the stock is going down. The Browns, I feel like the injuries are finally catching up with the Browns. I think they're not as good as their record says they are.
Okay.
That defense is very overrated. They look good against bad quarterbacks, but put an elite quarterback in there and they look like poo-poo.
Even at let's say, Alex Weister, a 75% to 80% healthy Trevor Lawrence, how are you leaning between Jags and Browns, Alex?
I'm going to completely fade the Jags this week. I am just absolutely bewildered why they are starting Trevor Lawrence. It is a high ankle sprain. It's not an ankle tweak. The man's not going to be able to run. I don't know why they're starting him. I'm going to take the Browns in this one.
I'm going to agree with you, man. I'm very wary to pick against Trev and the Jags because I'm confident in that team. I think they do have AFC title contention on their resume. But, man, he's banged up. And look, Myles Garrett and company, that defense can put a pass rush on you. I think they're going to do just that, and I think the Browns' defense is going to be the difference today. Give me the Browns at home. Next game up, we got the Rams at the Ravens. The Rams are resurgent. They're 6-6. The Ravens are at home. They're 9-3. I know Baltimore is a 7.5-point favorite. Is anybody willing to take the Rams on the road against the Ravens? Go ahead, Aiden.
No.
Like, not at all?
No. Give me the Ravens in this one. The Rams have been playing better since Stafford got healthy again. Give them that. But I feel like the Ravens are just going to have their way with the Rams today.
Are the Ravens the best team in the AFC, Alex Weister? What do you think about this one?
I think it's a close one. I think you can definitely make the argument. I like how they've played. And I'm curious what your thoughts are on this game, James, before I say anything.
Okay, cool. So my thoughts on this game are this. I do like the Rams. They've been playing a lot pesky, and you got to give credit to, of course, Sean McVay and what Matthew Stafford and them have been able to do in this short month or so. And they're in the playoff hunt right now, man. You know, I'm impressed with them. But in the end, I'm going to go with Ravens. I think the Ravens at home are going to be a little bit too strong. I really honestly feel that the Ravens are the best team in the AFC right now. I think they are the number one spot. I think when it's all said and done that the Super Bowl is going to go through Baltimore in an AFC title game. So I'm going to go Ravens with this one. I'm going to go Ravens with this one. What do you got?
I was hoping that somebody would bite on the Rams because I did have a piece of information that was sort of going to give me the upper hand here. I've been keeping an eye on pretty much everything all morning, and it is an absolute downpour in Baltimore currently.
Oh, and that might play a big factor.
Down to a matchup with the Ravens. If it is a downpour in Baltimore, I'm going to be taking the Ravens in that game. 10 out of 10 times. That plays into their hand absolutely beautifully.
Yeah, the Ravens are going to want to – they're just one of those gritty, physical, all-weather type of teams, run game. I mean, I can see Lamar getting some pretty good chunk yardage in the rain, not too much passing, which plays against the Rams. So you're right about that, Alex. We're moving on, and this one is actually sneaky competitive. We got the Vikings 6-6 at the Raiders 5-7. This one is in Vegas. Vikings are trying to hang on to that last playoff spot. They're in a battle with the Packers right now for the 6th and 7th seed in the NFC. Raiders are trying to just hang on in there, man. They've been playing a little bit better as of late. It's in Vegas, and the Vikings are a 3-point road favorite. Aiden Ducker, you're first.
Give me the Raiders in this one.
Right? Raiders at home? I don't know, man.
Raiders are coming off are the Vikings coming off a bye too?
Yes.
Okay, they're both coming off a bye. I think the Raiders, I'm going to give them the home edge. My Josh Dobbs stock is down now. That was just an ugly-looking game against the Bears, Dan.
It kind of was, man. I know we were pretty high on the Pastronaut here on this show, and I know Alex Weister was pretty high on the Pastronaut, Josh Dobbs as well. Alex, are you still there with Josh Dobbs and the Vikings, or are you going Raiders?
Last time I checked, one game doesn't sink a complete career for a quarterback. And I got one thing to say. Mama, there goes that man. Who is going to stop Justin Jefferson? He is back.
Oh.
In full swing, 100%. No one on that Raiders defense is going to be able to stop him. I got him with a big game, his first game back for the Vikings. I'm taking the Vikings.
I am curious how Dobbs looks with a healthy Justin Jefferson. That is a big factor, and he's coming back at the right time for the playoff stretch, the playoff push. With that being said, I'm going Vikings as well. Definitely so. Aiden, you picked Raiders. You're still going to keep that?
I'll still keep it.
All right.
Y'all are below me for a reason, so I can't pick too closely also.
We got 2 games left. Let's go with Bills at Chiefs. Bills at Chiefs, 325. Bills are 6-6. Chiefs are 8-4. Bills need to try to fight back into this playoff picture. The Chiefs are coming off of a loss on Sunday night to the upstart Packers in Green Bay. The Chiefs are only a 1-point favorite in Arrowhead. I'm gonna take this one first, guys. Bills upset pick for me. I'm going Bills on the road. Josh Allen has a big game. I'm a little bit down on the Chiefs. I'm a little bit down on that offense. They are suspect in that regard. They're only a 1-point favorite. Vegas is trying to tell us something here. This is essentially a coin toss. Give me the Bills as my upset pick over the Chiefs. Alex, what do you got?
I agree. It's hard to pick the Chiefs right now, but with the way things have shaken up for them, they know what is at stake. They know what they have to do. This is a massive game for them. I think they're going to come out ready. I think the receivers are going to have to tighten up a little bit. I'm going to have to take the Chiefs in this one in a bounce-back game.
All righty, fair take. Aiden.
Give me the Chiefs in this one, and I'm pretty confident in this one.
You think so?
Chiefs are coming off a loss. Always pick an elite team coming off a loss, and the Chiefs are the elite of the elite.
Which terrorist attack do you think Sean McDermott's going to try to inspire the Bills with today?
And here's the thing: not only does Sean McDermott have an admiration for Al Qaeda, but you also have the Von Miller stuff.
Do you think Sean McDermott's going to go Oklahoma City bombing today?
No.
Or Pearl Harbor?
That's pretty bad as Sean McDermott.
It was, man.
It was very that's pretty rough. You have the Bills dealing with that, and then the Von Miller stuff too.
Oh,
that has an effect too.
Yeah, the Bills are kind of wild, bro.
Bills, I see this is Sean McDermott's last season. As a head coach, the Chiefs are going to make a statement. There
we go.
I got Chiefs by 10.
Last game. This one's also competitive. Broncos 6-6 at the Chargers 5-7. The Chargers are 3-point home favorites, but you already know that stadium's going to be packed with Bronco orange in Los Angeles. Who do you got in this one, Alex?
Call me crazy, boys, but the Chargers suck.
They are horrible.
They're not good.
They aren't.
It's tough to pick them. I think this is going to be one of those weeks where the Chargers just absolutely fold. I'm going to take the Broncos in this one.
I'm going Broncos as well. Broncos country, let's ride. I like the way they've been playing. I know they lost recently, but give me the Broncos. Who do you got, Aiden?
Give me the Chargers in this one.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. They're both not making the playoffs. Let's just get that out of the way. But
Yes.
Give me the Chargers in this one. I don't know. They're both pretty mid to poor.
This is a mid-off, possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly a mid-off, but I think the Broncos are slightly better than mid. So I'm going to pick them to win. I got Russ having a big game today. I do, at least. And that's going to
give me Chargers, yeah.
All righty, there we go. That wraps up our NFL pick'em.
What was Marcus's upset?
Marcos's upset is Broncos.
Oh, okay.
Broncos
so
over Chargers. Okay. So we all have different upsets. Adin has the Jags. Alex has the Colts. I have the Bills. Marcos has the Broncos. Those are our upset specials today. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some quick Texas high school football. Alex Weister will remain on the line. So keep it locked. One more segment of the Sunday Sports Rush. Sunday Sports Rush, we're back. Last segment with you. Alex Weister is on the line. We're going to talk some Texas high school football. Alex Weister, go ahead and jump right back in, man. We're here.
I mean, I've become somewhat of a Texas high school football nerd, as you guys know.
Let's start with 6A Division I.
Yes.
State championship next week is going to be Duncanville against Galena Park North Shore. This is the fifth time that they are meeting. And is it the fifth time? Is this 5 years in a row, or is this just the fifth time total?
This is the fifth time they've met up in the last 6 years.
Okay, there we go. And, you know, Duncanville has won one of those. I believe Duncanville finally got through last year. That was the big story last year.
They're the defending champions.
How do you feel about this one?
I mean, it's probably the most boring out of all the state championships that we have. I mean,
interesting.
We've seen this time after time. North Shore, they have been rolling. The one game that does worry me is the game that Duncanville had versus DeSoto. They looked discombobulated. DeSoto looked like the better team.
And you were there for that one.
They were not as highly ranked. I'm probably going to have to go with North Shore in this one, to be honest. I think it's going to be a close one. The last couple have been close.
Yeah.
I think North Shore gets it 24-17 in this game.
I think North Shore wins also. They're stacked, you know, just kind of keeping up with them all year. I got North Shore. Aiden, who do you got? North Shore or Duncanville?
I got Duncanville on this one.
Oh,
I'm trying to find the halftime thing. I'll play this.
That's all good. Just play something. All right, cool. So we are going north. We're all going North Shore. Just turn that down a tad.
The reason why I got Duncanville is just they've been playing a lot better in the playoffs, and they had that bad game against DeSoto in the regular season.
Very true.
But North Shore kind of limped by Westlake. I know Westlake's
tough game.
But give me Duncanville in this one.
Yeah, okay, cool. Let's go on to 6A D2. DeSoto 14-0 versus Humble Summer Creek at 14-1. This is the 7 p.m. game on Saturday night at Jerry World. Weister, thoughts?
DeSoto, two-time champs. They are the defending champions. Despite the turnovers, DeSoto still beats South Lake Carroll. This is the first state finalist for Humble ISD, as talked about by Greg Tepper and Matt Stepp. It's great for them. That's fantastic. I mean, it's a great run from Summer Creek. They've had a fantastic playoff run. It's just sad that they're running into an absolute brick wall in DeSoto. I mean, I've watched this team in person twice.
Yes.
The talent is just immense across the board.
DeSoto has that running back named Tiger.
They're just such a good team. I think Summer Creek is going to keep it relatively close. At least I would hope so.
Yeah.
But in the end, I think DeSoto is going to end up winning this
Give me
one.
DeSoto as well. I think the Eagles are going to fly in this one.
I think DeSoto is the best team in the entire state, no matter what.
In all classifications.
Yeah, well,
pound for pound.
Yeah, pound for pound.
Wow.
And I think the DeSoto South Lake game was the de facto state title game. Much respect to Humble Summer Creek for making it there, but this DeSoto team's a juggernaut.
Humble Summer Creek did get by Cibolo Steel, and a pretty tough contest right there. So we all got DeSoto. Let's move on now to 5A Division I. You got Aledo at 15-0 versus Smithson Valley at 14-1.
It's gonna be Aledo.
Yes.
Do we all got Aledo in this one? Alex Weister, give me your thoughts.
It's cut and dry.
Give me your thoughts.
Aledo, 11-time champ in the last 25 years.
The most.
First time back for Smithson Valley since 2004. Aledo's going to roll in this one.
You think they're going to roll?
Aledo I
got it 51-28.
Ooh.
They have like an LSU prospect. They got what's the other prospect they got?
I believe it's their quarterback.
Interesting. So, okay, I guess I'll go Alito. I'm kind of rooting for Smithson Valley, though.
Oh, we're all the whole Texas high school football world is rooting for Smithson Valley in this one.
Let's move on to 5A Division II. We got South Oak Cliff trying to go for a three-peat. They're 13-2, and they're playing Port Neches Groves, who's 14-1. This is a rematch of last year's final where South Oak Cliff won. Alex Weister, do you see much of the same, or does Port Neches Groves finally get through?
So South Oak Cliff had a great game against Lovejoy last year. They decided to come out this year and just absolutely skunk them. It was disgusting what South Oak Cliff did to Lovejoy. I'm going to take South Oak Cliff getting the three-peat.
Give me the Mecca and sock. South Oak Cliff. They're going to go with the three-peat. Adin Ducker.
I'm rooting for Port Neches Groves, but give me South Oak Cliff. I just think they're too dominant of a team.
Let's go to
there's some dynasty there.
Let's go to 4A Division I. We have in the championship game the Anna Coyotes 14-1 versus Tyler Chapel Hill at 13-2. This is the 11 o'clock game on Friday at Jerry World. Alex, you keep on saying Anna's the team of destiny. What do you think?
This is my game, boys. The first appearance ever for Anna versus the two-time champions, Chapel Hill. This is Chapel Hill's first time back since 2012. And for Anna, this is their best shot to win it before moving up to 5A next season. And I'm going to say it. They're going to win it.
Coyotes!
I'm just saying it right now. I will mark it. I will stamp it. Anna is going to win the state championships this year.
Go ahead, Adin.
They got Anna as well. They kind of dominated Stephenville at times earlier in the playoff. They dominated Decatur, who they beat in a rematch. Give me Anna in this one.
China Spring, too.
Oh, yeah.
You know what, man?
It's Anna, dude.
A part of me wants to pick Tyler Chapel Hill, but, I'm going to ride this wave. I'm going to ride this what seems to be almost destiny. I'm going with the Anna Coyotes. Let's go, baby. I'm picking them in the 4A D1 championship. Let's go to 4A D2. We're probably only going to have enough time to pick this one. Let's go with...
I want to at least get through this and get to 3A D1 so I can tell you my crazy note that I have on that game.
Okay, Gilmer 12-3 versus Belleville 15-0. Who wins?
Gilmer beat Carthage. Any team that beats Carthage it's Gilmer.
I'm going Gilmer too,
Gilmer.
even though Belleville has been very impressive. Give me the Gilmer Buckeyes. All right, 3A D1, Alex Weister. Let's go ahead and get through this. It's Malakoff versus Franklin.
Yes. Great run by Malakoff. They beat Brock. This is their second time in states ever. Franklin is back-to-back champs. And, boys, Franklin is absolutely drumming opponents. They have won every single game in the playoffs by 20-plus points. The only other team to do that this year is Duncanville. This team is drumming their opponents. And I think they're going to do it again. I got Franklin 52-38.
I got Franklin as well. It's going to be a closer game than people realize, but Franklin's going to three-peat.
I think I'm going to go with Franklin as well, guys. They're just too strong. They're too powerful. Go ahead, Adin.
Real quick, in 3A D1, I got Gunter. They're Gunter's an elite team.
Gunter versus Tidehaven. Give me Gunter.
2A Division 2, I got...
Interesting note for Tidehaven. They're back to the States for the first time since 1981.
Crazy.
When they were the co-champions.
Nice. Co-champions. Give me a Timpson over Toller in 2A D1.
Timpson, Bussey's going to end with the state title, and then give me... And the other one, give me Albany beating Mart in the rematch of last year's state title game.
Ooh, give me Mart. I'm going Mart in this one. Both teams undefeated. You're going Albany?
Yep.
All right, there we go. Alex, we appreciate you being on, man. We're hitting the heart out, my guy. You have a good rest of your Sunday.
You guys too.
All righty. Everybody who got in this morning, appreciate y'all guys texting in. Don't forget, Cowboys and Eagles tonight on Keys. Thank you guys. Love you guys. Shout out to Crossroads Clinical Research for Adin Ducker. Good job back there, man. I am James Espinosa. No more questions. We'll talk to you next week.